Aloha, shalom, 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 shalom. So I'm just gonna go live for about 15 minutes or so here. I'm unpredictable, so it could be longer, could be shorter. You guys know me. I just wanted to come on here and see what you guys want to know about me, because I had a couple of people recently ask me to share about myself, who I am, what I do, where I'm from, all these things. And I thought, I'm really busy, I just don't have time for that. And so I haven't gotten to make that video yet. So here I am, and I'm curious to know, what are you curious about? What do you want to know about me? So I'm going to tune in here and see your comments, your questions. I see somebody says they're from Morocco here. Hello. Good way to start off the video. My grandmother was born in Morocco, in Casablanca, Morocco. On my dad's side of the family. That's where my grandmother's from. And my grandfather, my father's father, was born in Thessaloniki, Greece. And they left at the time of the Holocaust. And they met in Israel and had my dad there in Tel Aviv. What got me interested in tarot? Jessica is asking. So ever since I was younger, I sort of had this ability I came into the world with this ability to see in what I call tree vision. Thoughts, words, and things I perceive all in the same way. So basically I receive the thought, or I hear a word, or I experience a thing, like a place or an actual thing, like a chair, for example, right? And all of those words, thoughts, and things are immediately, like upon perceiving them, they're immediately deconstructed into their original essence or keynotes. This is kind of hard to explain in English language. And then I'm shown all the infinite reconfigurations of those original energies with the most relevant information at the forefront. So I've always had this interesting tree vision, and the tarot and Kabbalah really showed me what that is and how to use it. So the tarot was complementary to this vision that I've always had. Trying to keep up with your questions here, so I'm just scrolling a bit. Thank you so much for your compliments and your support, you guys. So yeah, ask me anything you want to know about me. This is just so that you guys could get to know me, and I would love to share this video on my YouTube channel. If you guys don't know yet, I do have a YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/RebeccaMagic, and go ahead and subscribe. That way you get notified when I add new videos. I'll probably be doing some things on there that I don't do here on Facebook, because you know how Facebook can be. Sometimes I get censored. I don't know why, but I don't need to go into any conspiracies right now. So go ahead and ask me whatever you want to know. So yeah, this tree vision is what really got me into the tarot, and the deeper I go with the tarot, the more magical it gets. It's really a never-ending journey, because when you understand the true definition of tarot, which by the way means royal path in ancient Egypt, you understand that all of life is the tarot. And we're meant to continuously grow and evolve psychologically and spiritually. And the practice of tarot, therefore, can grow with you. So it's never ending. So for those of you just tuning in, I opened up the floor to everybody to ask questions about me. I've never done this before. This is kind of something different. It's because a lot of people have been asking me about myself. So go ahead and ask personal questions, just keep it appropriate, please. This is for my friends, my new friends here, and new subscribers and new clients to get to know me. Jessica's asking, did anyone tell you that what you're doing is bad? I get that a lot. Yeah, absolutely. I often get messages from all sorts of people from different religious backgrounds telling me that what I'm doing is sacrilegious, that what I'm doing is the devil's work, that I'm playing with fire. A lot of people hear that I'm into Kabbalah, and they're like, oh, they get nervous. And I think that's a projection, and understood. I get it. It's not for everybody. And I think there are a lot of people that mess with magic and don't know exactly what they're doing. And if you don't understand what you're doing, even if you're doing it innocently so, it can be chaos, and it could be not so good. But in the end, it doesn't matter. Everything is either a blessing or a lesson. So I'm not afraid. And I know that what I'm doing is coming from my heart. And the amount of people that I help and the amount of goodness that comes from this totally outweighs the negative and all the people who tell me that what I'm doing is bad. So I keep going. Santiago's asking, do I enjoy cooking? If so, what is my favorite meal to cook? It's quite windy, you guys. You might hear my blinds slapping around over here. I do enjoy cooking. I intermittent fast daily. I'm an intuitarian. I would say I'm mostly raw vegan because that's just naturally what happens. But my diet is never the same. It changes seasonally. I mean, it changes with the changes that are happening inside of me, and change is constant. And so I'm always adapting to that. But I would say my eating habits are definitely not the norm. I don't eat out at restaurants. I don't want to eat at a place where I don't know who's making and preparing the food for me. I like to know from the roots to the fruits, you know, from the seed to the fruit, where it's coming from, who's touching it, what is the intention going into my food. So I never eat out unless it's at the amazing Chocolatery in Sedona, the Chocolatery Organic Oasis. I've been working there for a long time now, for many years now, and I will eat anything there because everything is prepared with so much love, and I know the people who make it, and that makes me feel good. So it's either I'm eating at home or I'm eating somewhere special like Chocolatery. Thank you for your compliments, you guys. It's super sweet. It's cool to see y'all tuning in. So what else do you want to know about me? What else do you want to know? I can tell you, a client was asking me this morning, where am I from? I was born and raised in Queens, New York. So, yeah, I'm a New Yorker, and I think that it made me, a lot of who I am today. It affected me in a really powerful way growing up there. Being such a sensitive and empathic child growing up in New York City was super difficult. And I waited my whole life to find this beautiful place that I now live in Sedona, Arizona. And I've been here for over a decade, and I love it so much. And a lot of people say, wow, Sedona, how'd you get all the way over there from New York? It's very different. And I had a vision, and I bought a one-way ticket, and I never looked back. And here I am, all these years later. My own mom came to visit me in Sedona one day and said, wow, I get it. This is your home, you know. And it is. And I've had a lot of people tell me that I'm Sedona in a body, and that's how I feel. And again, New York really shaped me in many ways. It made me a warrior. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere, so they say, right? So I think that it also supported my ability to be speedy and fast. That's how I work. That's how I operate. It's not just because I'm from New York, but New York's definitely supported that. I work very quickly. I'm like a hummingbird. A lot of people call me a hummingbird, and then that still serves me today. It's a great skill to be able to work as quickly as I do, but also efficiently. Some people, when the pressure's on and they're pressured to work quickly, everything just kind of falls apart. But I'm pretty good at keeping it together under a fast pace. Let's see what your questions are that you're asking. Have I ever digged into the Sasquatch subject? No. But I'll leave that for another day. Yes, exactly, Alexandria. Thank you. Exactly like a hummingbird. That's how I feel. Jessica's asking, do you have a child? I think I see them in the back every now and then in your lives. I have a son. His name is Judah, and he's 8. And he's also a super quick one. He's also very speedy, and he's a lot like me. We're a lot alike. And he's very sensitive and very tapped in. I mean, this kid, the stuff that he says is just so magical. I made an email for him when he was born, and I send him all the funny things that he says or all the cool things that happen. And our family and friends have the email, and every now and then they'll write to him as well. So one day he'll be able to open all those things. But it's amazing to see how when a child grows up with parents like me, you know, in this world of psychism and spiritual psychology, it's amazing to see how it affects them and what they take on. I mean, he picks out symbolism, occult symbolism and imagery everywhere we go. He says, oh, Mom, this is like, that's, you know, the pentacle suit of the tarot, or that looks like the magician. And, you know, so he's always picking up on the symbols, and it's fascinating. We're both life path number 9, my son and I. Really interesting fact I would love to share with you guys. I've never shared this in the internet world before. I'm really into numerology, and I got into it in a sort of magical, spontaneous way over a decade ago. If you take my birthday on any year, let's say you do February 5th, because that's my birthday, 2042, right? And you reduce it to a single digit, that digit will be the single digit of my age, also reduced. So the keynote of the year will always match the keynote of my age. And the same thing for my son. We both have this really interesting pattern. And at first I thought, no, it's got to be this way for everybody. But no, it's just some weird, interesting little thing that my son and I share. So it's a fun fact for you guys. Let's see your questions. Why did I decide on the name Judah? It just sort of came to me after I had found out I was having a boy. I was driving home and it was raining, and the song came on, Hey Jude, and I had already asked his father if he would be okay with the name Jude, and he said no. So I called him up and I said, how about Judah? And he said, yeah, I like that, and I really liked that too. And then I looked into the name, and wow, it blew me away. It blew me away. So much significance in a way that's ancestral and in a way that's also universal. The name Judah has powerful roots in every culture, actually. So yeah, feel free to do some research on the name if you like. The name also perfectly fits the numerology of his birthday. It's fun. If you guys do the numerology of your birthday, you'll find it often fits perfectly with the numerology of your name. Something you might want to try out. Can be fun. Chris is asking, were you mentored into aspects of your work? No, I was not. My family, I'm definitely the rainbow sheep of the family. And at first I don't think they thought I was maybe going through a phase when I came out with all this stuff that I was keeping in for so many years, but now they see this is just really who I am, and they're very supportive and they're very open even to my guidance. It's really awesome. I don't often see that with psychics or spiritual healers. You often don't see their family members being receptive to their guidance, and I'm very blessed to have a different experience with mine. So no, I wasn't mentored. I grew up as raised conservative Jewish. I had a bat mitzvah, the whole 9. So I received a lot of magical teaching, maybe not the mystical aspects of Judaism, but, grew up studying Torah and performing the rituals. Since I was born, my family performed all the rituals and celebrated all the holidays, and it was synagogue every weekend. And now growing up and coming into the world more of Kabbalah and the mystical aspect of Judaism, all of that material and education that I received growing up, I am now able to apply to all the new stuff that I'm learning. So it's almost like I'm activating all this information that I've been collecting my whole life. So yeah, that is a mentorship in a big way, I suppose you could say. I could say all my Hebrew school teachers and my path growing up Jewish has really helped mentor me. I'm looking for your questions now. Can I talk about my tattoos? Jessica's asking. Sure, why not? This is my Polynesian arm dedicated to my Polynesian connection. Definitely feel past life, ancestral connection. I got them at different times on my trips to the different islands in Hawaii. This one, there was no Maori symbol for fire, so I actually designed this fire symbol out of the water symbol. I flew to Maui last year during their biggest fire, and our plane was actually diverted, and we eventually made our way to Maui, and we drove through all that smoke many times and saw the helicopters trying to maintain and put it out. It was huge. It was an initiation for sure. And of course, what I was experiencing on the outside, you know, this whole fire, was really a metaphor for what I was experiencing within. This one is all about the age of Aquarius and the message of Aquarius. It's hard to see. I got it many years ago. It's all fading out. But this is 11. Aquarius is the 11th house of the zodiac wheel. And a lot of people would say, isn't Aquarius a water sign because it's the water bearer? But that confuses the entire message of Aquarius. Aquarius is actually an air sign. It's the fixed air sign of the 3 air signs. And it's pouring water, but what the water is symbolizing is consciousness, because Aquarius is the messenger of the heavens, messenger of the gods. So that water is actually being poured from the heavens to earth, representing the concept of as above, so below, as within, so without. Further symbolized by the number 11, represents the same concept. And so I just separated each of the elements with a triangle here, and the elements are surrounding the earth. Aquarius is at the top of the wheel here, and it's broken open so that the consciousness, which instead of water we did the flower of life, was breaking up and falling from the heavens to earth through the Aquarian portal there. And then instead of making a woman or a man, we just did rainbow hands to show no race, no gender, etc. And then there's the night and day sky here. I've got a bunch of others. I got a little tiny peace sign in the back of my neck. I got like a little hidden heart here. I got an olive here. I've got Yisrael on my hand, Israel in Hebrew. I've got Judah, that's my son's name. It's also a tribe of Israel. I've got this one that I designed many years ago, and it says inspiration and intuition with an Om. It's combined. Drew that one day for my birthday, for my 19th birthday, I think. It's a long time ago. I've got Carpe Diem. I've got Medusa on my leg. I've got one that says Children of the Law of One. I have one that says Moksha, which means free from samsara, or the cycle of rebirth. And I've probably got a couple more, but there you go. There's your tattoo download. All right, see what else here. Do I remember any past life of myself? I think that's a cool question, Gino. Thanks for asking. It took me many years to begin to have these sort of past life regression experiences, and it was a process. Like, there were things that needed to happen before I could have access to those memories, and I have had a couple now. There have been memories of drowning or ancestors drowning. There's been a lot of significance with that. I've also had a very specific vision of a man who was breaking these false idols, these statues, in an outdoor temple. It looked like in ancient times. And he was upset that he was leading so many people to worship false idols, because although he had his connection to the one, and it was okay for him to worship those idols because he understood that they were part of this one, the people that he was leading, leading didn't necessarily have that same connection to the one, and so he felt he was responsible for allowing all of them to worship these false idols, and he was very upset. And I don't know if I was him or I was this like consciousness surrounding him. Ultimately, we're all one. It doesn't matter. It's what we're getting from that vision. So I actually visited him and told him that it's okay, that it's all happening for a reason, and we're going to heal this later down the line. So that's, long story short, my past life experiences. A lot of people tell me, that I have Egyptian energy surrounding me, that I've had Egyptian past lives. I get that a lot. I think that's all I'll say about past lives. Yeah, that's interesting there. Lindsay's talking about the tattoos. Let's see, what else? How do I cultivate my balance? Chris is asking. That's a great question. I believe the entire reason that we're here is to continuously seek a new state of balance, right? It's like almost like perfect for this time of year, Libra season, balance, the scales. which was also just the Jewish and Egyptian New Year on the lunisolar calendar. It's like we come out of Virgo season, right? Making order out of the chaos. And then we come to a new level of balance. But the circle is always turning, spinning. The wheel of time is always spinning. It's eternal. It's never ending. And so everything moves in cycles. And so balance is never achieved and it's just done. It's a never-ending reconfiguration of the same original emanation of light. It's like that original light that came in and created all that we see here and all that we are is constantly being reconfigured. There are veils being lifted and being closed at the same time. So it's almost like you could see it as our chakras are a reflection of these universal chakras, and the light keeps getting distributed and reconfigured to match whatever balance is necessary for the one at that time. So I believe this is why we're here. We come in, representing a frequency of where we left off in the last life, I believe, and then we're meant to balance it out with the neutralizing energy. So how do I do that? I really focus on the polarities, masculine and feminine, the mother and the father that lives within the heart, the two that really are the one. And I think it's all about defining or redefining, because we already unconsciously define these two through media, parents, school, etc., environment, etc. So it's about redefining or defining these forces of polarity and developing a relationship with each of these definitions as they exist inside of you. So what is my idea of the feminine? What is my idea of the masculine? And how can I see that these forces of polarity make up everything within and without? And so my definition of these forces ultimately determines the way I see the world and the way that I interact with it. So I think it's really important about having a clear idea of what the divine masculine archetype is, what the divine feminine archetype is, and how we embody it and how we can actualize it in its highest light. That's how I seek to find balance. Another way I think is so important to understand in seeking this balance is the virtues and the vices. If you look at the original emanation of creation, that original primordial light, it's referred to as the all-virtuous light of compassion, right? The ring of light or the circle of life. And when that light came in, it's like it went through the prism and broke up into the colors of the rainbow. You can see that original all-virtuous light as having broken up into the different virtues. So it's like the fragments or the colors of that white light become the different virtues. And so I think that a way to get back to the original all-virtuous light is by taking any of those virtuous paths. And really all of those virtuous paths, all of them lead back to that all-virtuous light of compassion. All the virtues are fragments of that compassion. So we can look for opportunities to be honest, to be kind, to be patient. Anything that is a part of compassion, we can look to any of those opportunities to embody these virtues, to ride that frequency back to the original one. And so the way that we do that is, well, look, we're in this crazy world of appearances, this world of paradox, and we experience so much pain and suffering and vice. We constantly have these opportunities to experience jealousy, anger, any kind of impatience, lying, stealing, cheating, and there's constantly this temptation. And I think that it's great because all that stuff is impermanent anyway. All they're really here to do, these opportunities for darkness, is to show us that instead we can choose the light. So all of these opportunities to embody the vices, we can use them as red flags to call in our conscious awareness, to be present, and to choose the opposite instead, to choose the neutralizing force or effect of the vice, which would ultimately be the virtue. So if you're being called to be impatient, if you feel impatient, it's life testing you to be like, oh, how patient can you be right now? Especially when it's hard. And essentially this whole process I just explained is the way that we find our way back to balance. I have a lot to say about balance, so I think it was Chris who asked. That was a really good question. Yeah, that was Chris. What is my sun sign? Thanks, Jason, for asking. In Western astrology, it's Aquarius. Duh. Of course. But in Vedic, it is Capricorn. And my moon, in Western astrology, my moon is Scorpio. My rising is Aries, and every house is in its home position after that. So it's quite easy to remember what signs each of my houses in. They're in their home positions, every single one of them. Gino's asking, if you were to recommend any book to read, what would be your first choice? My book, of course, The Royal Path. I know I got it around here somewhere, but you guys have probably seen it a million times if you've watched my lives. It's on Amazon. It's called The Royal Path, Activating the Archetypal Alliance Within. And if you just type in The Royal Path Activating, the book will come up. I'm also happy to ship it to you if anybody's watching this and you're interested in reading my book. It's all about how to access these archetypes that are represented by the different tarot cards, but outside of them just being cards. It's how to access these archetypal energies from within your own heart and your own mind so that you can call upon them as allies in your experience. Another book I would recommend is Ernest Holmes' The Science of Mind. A more beginner book that a lot of you have probably heard of before, The Power of Now. That's an excellent book. The Bhagavad Gita, the Zohar, anything by Torkom Saridarian. Torkom, Torkom. All of his books are amazing. The Path of the Heart, I believe. Any of his books are amazing. Torkom Saridarian. Okay, I'm just going to go for a couple more questions here and then I'm signing out. It's been really fun answering all your questions. Thank you, Shauna, for the compliment. I appreciate that. And thank you, Santiago, for sharing that. I appreciate it. And I really love sending you copies of my books personally from me to you because it's more personal, it's more magical, but also because I can sign it in my Hebrew name. And I also include a homemade bookmark, which is basically a tarot card that I decorate. I include that in the book. So I do like sending it that way. And a lot of you I know don't want to support Amazon. You'd rather just support me. So I appreciate that. Yes, Jason's saying that he had to ask. My tattoo was a tribute to the age of Aquarius, but not necessarily my sign. It happens to also be my sign. And I was just tired of people misinterpreting the message of Aquarius. And so that's what led me to get that whole tattoo. Sam is asking, how did you come up with the tattoo on your arm? Yeah, I just spoke about that a bit ago. It's I designed it. I used the water symbol of the Maori culture and I made it into fire. Mindy's asking, what's the cost of my book? If you're in the US with shipping, it's $25. It's also available in the electronic version on Amazon. So if you guys, you have a Kindle or you want to read it on your phone, super easy to get it on there. All right, I'm just going to hang tight for a couple more questions. So I made this video to answer questions about me, who I am personally, where I come from, what I do, what are my personal habits that could maybe inspire you. That's why I'm making this video, and I'm going to share it on my YouTube channel. If you don't know, yes, I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/RebeccaMagic, just like my name is on here on Facebook. Just hit subscribe there so you can stay connected. Yeah, Tammy's saying she would love a court card book next. I am working on a minor arcanum and court card book for sure. We are up to class number 15 tomorrow in our weekly Zoom class. You guys, if you're interested in learning about the occult symbolism of the tarot, which is kind of a little bit of a different direction than my book is more tuning into the archetypes within you. The class that we do every week on Zoom is really focused on the symbols within the tarot, and there's so much, and you won't find what we share in any book. Okay, the classes also involve the Hebrew letter and the hieroglyphic association of each Hebrew letter that goes along with each of the tarot cards. And in modern tarot, this information is highly manipulated. So if you want the truth, it's in my book and it's in this weekly class. You don't have to take the class live. I've got clients all over the world, and it would be extremely difficult for us all to align with one time. So they are all recorded for your convenience. If you want to learn the tarot, you can private message me. They're just $10 a class, and you can start with just one class. You can buy a bundle. You can go at your own pace. super awesome. Also, you guys, we have a private group on Facebook called The Royal Path. All of the students who take the class are in this group, and we share a lot of extended information outside of the classes in this group. And the group is all focused on archetypal awareness and archetypal activation, so go ahead and join that. For those of you who want to know more about the mystic Judaism aspect, I have a private group on Facebook called Shabbat Crew. I post the Torah story every Friday, so that's coming up soon. It's the weekly Torah portion and the mystical import on that. And I post a lot about the rituals that are not just for Jewish people, but for anybody who wants to access the Kabbalah behind the rituals, which is an actual technology for all people, for anyone. You want to be the chosen person? Just choose and you're chosen. There's only one here. It's you, so choose. Let's see what else you guys are asking here. What do you do when you feel you're surrounded by negativity? I tune into the law of one, which is what I always turn to for any question I have of what I should do, what I should think, how I should be. If there's negativity, I just tune into that understanding that this is all one. How is my knowing that there is some negative energy affecting me right now? How is it affecting me? I know that there's negative energy, so what can I do about it? Where is it coming from, and what can I do about it? I think it's always about being proactive. And this is, I think, something also that growing up Jewish taught me. It's a religion of action. It's about, really aligning your thoughts with your words and with your actions. If there is any information, whether it's negative or positive, and you're aware of this information, why are you aware of it? How did you become aware of it? So you're asking about negative energy specifically. What is the negative energy? Why did it happen? It's about analyzing it and then acting on it. Analyzing it from a place of intuition as well. So you really have that balance of your logic and intuition determining what that information is, and then doing your best. Do your best, God does the rest. That's what I do with negative energy. It's either going to show me something and help to redirect my energy into more appropriate channels, or it's something that I need to let go of, that I've clearly been holding on to, right? So that's just a little bit about what I do with negative energy. How did the Yom Kippur fasting go for me? How was Yom Kippur? My Yom Kippur was amazing. Thank you for asking. Yes, it was such a special day. I took off from work. My sister was here with me, and I did fast, and it was great. I ended up writing a beautiful list of mantras that is going to be recorded on a track with some music, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with you guys. See, just a couple more questions and I'm out. Do I find that the tarot and Kabbalah beliefs are similar? Were you raised Orthodox? I was raised conservative Jewish. Yes, the tarot and Kabbalah are intimately connected. Think of it this way. Torah, tarot. Torah means law. Tarot is the royal path. Rota, another reconfiguration of those four letters, means the wheel or rotate. And orat means to tell, like oration. So if you take those four reconfigurations of T-A-R-O, you get that the tarot is just a never-ending cyclical story of the law that we are telling through our being. So yes, the tarot is intimately tied to Kabbalah. I see the tarot as a mini pictorial symbolic version of the Torah. It's like a condensed version that's put in picture form. Santiago's asking, do you genuinely believe that you have activated the Kabbalah within and can use it at will? Absolutely. I believe that we all can, and it's all a matter of understanding. And it comes from the heart. It comes from the center. Only you can ever know how connected you really are to the truth that's inside and all around you. Yes, I do genuinely feel it. I've had so much confirmation, and at the beginning of my understanding of who I am, who we are, it wasn't out of a book. It was it was an experience that came from within. And then people started offering me books and insights into what it was I was experiencing. So it's real. It's real. When you experience it within yourself, you just know. What is your take on twin flames? So I believe that and all of the energy is one. It's the same original light being reconfigured, right? It's that original light being multiplied and reconfigured. That's what I believe. We are like this one unit, one consciousness, and within that unit there is the light and the multiplication of that light and the reconfiguration of that light. And I believe that two people or multiple people, whatever, different beings come together to take that balance that we found within and bring it together in a way where we can bring it to a new level of balance. So it's all energetic, it's all frequency, it's all vibration. So I believe that people who come together to do this higher work, whether they're unconscious or conscious of it, doesn't matter. When we come together to do the work, because that's what it always is with a relationship, it's the work. We are like twin souls. We're attracting each other to reach a new level of balance. Now, how long that's supposed to be maintained, it doesn't matter. It's not about how long. In the realm, in the archetypal realm, in the spiritual realm, time doesn't matter. So I don't necessarily believe that two people come together and they're supposed to be together their whole lives, or that they're supposed to be together lifetimes. It doesn't matter. I believe that we come together as we do, when we do, within divine order, because nothing is outside of divine order. Nothing. It's impossible. So when two people come together, it's divine. They're meant to. So that's my take on twin flames. We're here to seek that balance within, and then inclusiveness is a virtue, because when we come together, two or more beings, to do more work with less effort, that's a virtue. But if it's more effort, if we're wasting our energy trying to find this balance, when it ultimately would take less balance to maintain our own within, then that's a vice. That's not a virtue. So as far as twin flames or coming together to do higher work with others, whether romantically or not, whatever, that's a whole other video. It's all about whether or not that inclusiveness is a virtue, whether or not that togetherness is for the highest good of one and all. It's either for the sake of the creator or it's not. All right, you guys, I see some of you are asking questions that I already asked, so go ahead and replay this video if you want to know about my tattoos, or if you want to know about where I come from, or that's going to be it for today. I will do another one of these Q&A videos soon, because I have a lot of fun this way, you guys getting to know me this way, rather than me just writing some script. I think it's a lot more fun to do this interactive thing. So thank you guys for getting to know me a bit, and I look forward to connecting with you all. Let me know if you're interested in my book. Let me know if you want to join our class. Again, my private groups on Facebook are Shabbat Crew and The Royal Path. I look forward to seeing you there. And I'll see y'all tomorrow for the class on Arcanum 15, the Devil, aka in ancient Egypt, the Black Magician. Tomorrow's also the full moon, so I will see you for the full moon activation. And a special shout out to Kevin, who just tuned in there. Happy birthday, brother. Happy birthday. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.